What if love was tested not by distance or time, but by money? Heartbreaking. Sam dreams of building a perfect kitchen, a symbol of warmth and a new beginning with Officer Lee. Yet, when the cost reaches nearly 1 billion dong, love suddenly faces doubt and judgment. Lee's sister, though fond of Sam, fears the world will see her as a woman chasing wealth. Torn between love and perception, Lee must choose what truly matters. Heart twisting. Watch till the end and don't forget to subscribe for more heartfelt stories about love, trust, and the courage to believe in each other. The sun poured through the tall windows of Sam's small apartment as she unrolled the final blueprint across the dining table. Her fingers trembled slightly, not from uncertainty, but from the thrill of finally bringing her dream kitchen to life. Every detail had been chosen with care. The smooth marble countertop that would gleam under the morning light, the soft oak cabinets custom made by a local craftsman, the quiet hum of imported appliances that promised both elegance and efficiency. It wasn't just a renovation, it was her way of crafting a future, a space that symbolized warmth, comfort, and a new beginning with Lee. Sam had always believed that the kitchen was the heart of a home. It was where laughter echoed between the clinking of dishes, where the aroma of soup blended with the sound of music playing softly in the background. For her, building this kitchen wasn't about showing off luxury. It was about creating a sanctuary where she and Lee could slow down, cook together, and talk about everything, from their childhood memories to their wildest dreams. Each tile, each color, each piece of furniture was chosen with him in mind. She could already picture the way he'd walk in, still wearing his police uniform, tired but smiling, the smell of dinner pulling him closer. Yet, as she looked at the final cost, nearly 1 billion dong, roughly equivalent to $40,000, her heart tightened. That was a staggering sum, more than she had ever imagined spending on something that wasn't a house itself. But she couldn't help it. She wanted everything to be perfect. "It's not about extravagance," she whispered to herself. "It's about love made visible." She smiled faintly, though her chest felt heavy with the weight of what that number meant. That evening, she brewed a pot of jasmine tea and waited for Lee to come home. She rehearsed what she'd say, hoping he would understand that this wasn't just about marble or modern lighting, but about building a place that belonged to both of them, a place where love could breathe. The sound of the door unlocking made her heart flutter. As Lee walked in, still in his uniform, she showed him the designs with the same excitement a child shows a secret treasure. "This is it," she said softly, "our kitchen, our beginning." Lee smiled, his eyes lighting up as he looked at the plans. But when he glanced at the cost breakdown, his expression shifted for just a second, subtle, but enough for Sam to notice. She didn't say anything. She simply poured him tea, hiding the small ache growing in her chest. For her, that kitchen wasn't just a dream, it was her promise. A promise to love him deeply and to build a home that felt like forever. The next morning, Lee sat quietly in his car for a while before starting the engine. The conversation from last night lingered in his mind. Sam's bright eyes filled with hope, her gentle voice trembling slightly when she spoke about their kitchen. He loved that about her, the way she poured her heart into everything she did. Yet, as a police officer, he had learned to stay grounded, to weigh reality before emotion. Nearly 1 billion dong for a kitchen? It was a staggering amount. He wasn't worried about the money itself, but about how it might look, how others might perceive it. And so, that evening, he decided to talk to the one person whose opinion had always mattered to him most, his sister. When he arrived at her home, the familiar scent of herbal tea greeted him. His sister, Mai, was in the garden trimming orchids, her sleeves rolled up, her hair tied neatly in a bun. She smiled when she saw him. "You look tired," she said, pouring him a cup of tea. "Rough day at work again?" Lee shook his head with a faint smile. "Not exactly. It's about Sam." At the mention of her name, Mai's expression softened instantly. She had met Sam several times and liked her. Her kindness, her humility, the way she looked at Lee as if he were the safest place in the world. As Lee explained Sam's plan for the new kitchen, Mai listened intensely, her eyes narrowing slightly when he mentioned the cost. "1 billion dong?" she repeated, setting down her teacup. "For a kitchen?" Her voice wasn't angry, just careful, like someone trying to understand a puzzle that didn't quite make sense. Lee nodded, rubbing his hands together. "I know it's a lot, but it means something to her. She's been saving, planning everything herself. She wants it to be perfect." Mai sighed, leaning back in her chair. "I don't doubt her sincerity, Lee. She seems like a good woman, warm, thoughtful. But you two have only been together for what, a year?" Lee didn't answer. "You're a police officer," she continued gently. "You know how people talk. If you invest that kind of money in her dreams so soon, others will think she's with you for what you can give, not who you are." Her words hit him harder than he expected, not because he believed them, but because he knew they came from love, a sister's instinct to protect. "Sam isn't like that," he said quietly. "I know," Mai replied, her voice softening, "but the world doesn't always see what's true." Lee fell silent, staring at the steam curling from his tea. He wanted to defend Sam, to explain how genuine her intentions were, but part of him knew Mai wasn't wrong. The line between love and perception was thin, and money, in the eyes of others, always blurred it further. That night, as Lee drove home through the quiet streets, Mai's words echoed in his mind like the faint hum of the city lights. The world doesn't always see what's true. He gripped the steering wheel tighter, his heart a mixture of frustration and tenderness. He knew his sister's concern came from love, but it hurt him that even she doubted what he felt was so clear, that Sam loved him. Not his money, not his uniform, not the life he could offer, but him. Still, he couldn't shake the fear that Mai was right about one thing. People talk, and words can wound deeper than any truth can heal. When he stepped into their apartment, Sam was sitting by the window, sketching something on her tablet, probably another layout for the kitchen. Her hair was tied up messily, her glasses slipping down her nose, and in that simple sight, Lee's chest ached. She looked up, smiling the moment she saw him. "You're home," she said softly. "I made some soup. It's still warm." Her voice had that gentleness that always soothed him, yet tonight he found himself hesitating. He sat down beside her, glancing at the sketches. "Sam," he began, his tone careful, "about the kitchen. Maybe we should slow down a little." Her smile faltered, though she tried to hide it. "You mean you don't like the design?" she asked, forcing a light laugh. Lee shook his head. "It's not that. It's beautiful. Everything you do was beautiful, but it's a lot of money. Nearly $1 billion. My sister thinks..." He stopped, realizing too late that he had said too much. Sam's hands froze over her tablet. "Your sister," she repeated quietly. "She doesn't approve, does she?" Her voice wasn't angry, just fragile, like thin glass about to crack. Lee reached for her hand, but she gently pulled away. Sam, he said softly, she's just worried. It's not about you. She likes you. She really does. But she thinks people might misunderstand that you're with me because of money. Sam finished for him, her tone barely above a whisper. The words stung, sharper than she expected. She stood up, turning toward the window where the city lights reflected in her eyes. I didn't want this kitchen for myself, Lee. I wanted it for us, for the life we're building. Every detail, every color, it was my way of saying I believe in us. Lee rose and wrapped his arms around her from behind. For a long moment, they said nothing. Only the sound of their hearts filled the silence. I know, he murmured finally, and I'll make sure everyone knows too. We'll build it together, not to prove anything to anyone, but because love deserves a place to live. Sam closed her eyes, tears slipping down her cheeks, half sorrow, half relief. Maybe the world would always talk, but in that moment, held in his arms, she realized something far greater. Love, when true, didn't need to be understood. It only needed to be believed.
Hello, xin chào tất cả các khán giả của kênh Mí Tử Sam Review. Vậy là tập phim của chúng ta ngày hôm nay đã kết thúc tại đây. Trong tập phim ngày hôm nay của chúng ta thì cảnh sát Ni đã đầu tư tiền để xây cho Lý Tử Sam một căn bếp mới, nhưng mà số tiền đó quá lớn nên anh cần sự hỗ trợ của chị gái của mình là chị Oanh. Nhưng mà khi anh đề cập vấn đề đó với chị gái của mình thì chị gái của anh thấy Sam và Ni mới chỉ mới quen biết nhau, mà Sam đã đề nghị Ly chi một số tiền lớn như thế, khiến cho chị gái của Ly nghĩ rằng Sam đang lợi dụng Ly. Ờ, Mọi tình tiết hấp dẫn sẽ còn được hé lộ ở câu chuyện tiếp theo. Các bạn thấy video hôm nay hay hấp dẫn thì hãy để lại bình luận ở dưới video nhé. Đặc biệt là đừng quên hãy bấm vào nút đăng ký kênh để nhận được thông báo mới nhất về tập sẽ được phát sóng hàng ngày trên kênh Mí Tử Sam Review. Cảm ơn các bạn rất nhiều. Xin chào và hẹn gặp lại. Bye bye.